Hi team, welcome to the session on Coffee with Prabh. And today we have a special guest, Mr. Yusuf. Chief Cyber Risk Officer. And when it comes to their certification, oh my God, it's a list. It's a big list. CISSP, ISSAP, ISSAP, ISSMP, CCSP, CGIT, CRISC, CSSM, CDPSE, CAS Plus, and also PhD, which is called as a father of all cybersecurity things. So, Yusuf, before we going to start this session, I always ask one question to my speakers and all that. And I think Mr. Yusuf have a 30 years of experience in IT and cybersecurity. So what make you inspire to upgrade such contents, in a short span of time? Because when I saw your progress toward the cybersecurity or governance, I can see a quite frequency of your certification appearance and all that. So my first question is, what make you inspire to, upgrade in such kind of a pattern?
Yeah, I think again, when you start thinking about knowledge, maybe not only IT, every knowledge always changes. I mean, year by year, new thing always there. So it's really depend on again. For me, it's very like, for example, like a new thing. I mean, you like to study. So that's another thing that always, particularly in IT, even if you stuck with IT, even in management stuff, again, you need just to improve. You need to understand what's going on outside there. That's maybe for example, to make me to always just to to improve what I know, just to keep up with with the knowledge, with the improvement of technology outside.
So
So
that
yeah,
is
that's
great.
pretty much what I have. And again, regarding certification, it's just another thing. Just for me, it's more only that just for to make sure that I learn, I know what I'm knowing. And again, so with the background of I have before, sometimes just to show. I will tell you later that in one company that again, sometimes when I got audited, how did you know, for example, how did you know you configure like this is the right way? So because we don't have many resources, the way that I can show them, at least I certified in something, so I know that this may be the right way to configure. That's the sometimes that I have to answer the auditor. At least I have my stuff to do, and I can review the result, and I don't have to ask another party consultant. But that's another thing.
That is really great.
Mm.
So I think today agenda we have on how to prepare for CISSP, ISSEP, and I have seen very few resources available
Yeah,
in,
that's
in community.
mm,
And when I was preparing for that exam, it was really difficult.
mm,
So I was asking your opinion. What is your suggestion? Like, if the aspirants who watching this video,
mm,
okay, for that particular point of view, what do you think? What is a best resource we can basically use by which we can able to prepare for the CISSP ISSEP exam?
yeah. One thing that's I'm not pretty sure if many. Again, I'm sure that many people interested in CISSP. So I'm just wondering if there is a lot of outside people in the United States that are interested on this CSSP, ISSP, or IFOSEC.
So what do you think? What is the audience? Like, if some, like, when we're going for the consulting profiles and all that, we go for CISSP.
Mm,
When you're going for risk management, we go for CRISC.
mm.
So what is the outcome from this particular course? Like, if someone doing CISSP ISSEP, so what is the outcome he get from this particular course?
The outcome again, when you think about security, there is what we call system engineering. So there's all system security engineering.
Hmm.
So that's actually when part of, again, say you're building or you build system.
Hmm.
You select system engineering that build the systems. So this the whole system life cycle, SDLC, there's also part of security that take part in the development SDLC that do the engineering activities, security engineering activity on the whole of the life cycle. some security requirement, some kind of again to select the control to implement that. So when say that when we try to build trustworthy system, for example, that's part of in the CISSP. There's an engineer that will help you to make sure they can get the security requirement from the stakeholder needs, then to make sure that we implement in the whole system by do the security engineering activity during the SDLC. That's really the outcome.
Okay, so it is basically more on the you can say it is basically it's more on the system engineering, system designing, or mostly the product companies, manufacturing industries who basically involved in building products. So from that point of view, you're saying it is basically the things, or what exactly?
Yeah, the thing is, just you think about building like a system SDLC, software development, the same thing. So I think in software itself, you got the approach like DevSecOps, but actually from the engineering perspective, there's already system security engineering that we can apply just to to achieve quite the similar thing.
True.
So and that's this is the ISSP or the CISSP engineering this role for that.
Okay. So my question is, what is the learning we get from this particular course? What is the outcome from this particular course? Okay, this course is for engineers and all that. So if I need to ask you, what is the outcome from this course? CISSP make you better consultant, CISSP make you better risk manager, CISSP make you better program manager, CCSP make you better cloud security practitioner. Yeah.
Okay, so that's say that's why something. This is something not very done in outside the DoD. American DoD, because in DoD, I think they have like the guideline to build a secure system based on some engineering activity. So that's the outcome. The people, but again, for me, I think, because it's part of my project itself, I'm trying to apply also the quite similar thing in my day-to-day operations, that to apply like say the RMF. Say the outcome will be, you want to implement, say, I think you have the course CSSP. You want to implement the CSSP, and also you combine with this RMF, for example. That to maintain, but I think there's also one part of SDLC and the maintenance operations, if you think that. So with this is, I think with this engineering, you will know about, okay, I need to do this, I need to perform this as a system engineer, so that you make sure that the requirements are still there. So that's maybe the outcome that that I can tell you, that if you bring outside from DoD, just for example, if we apply some cyber management framework or some to build your security programs, this will help. This knowledge will help you to better implement, to better align with the system that that maybe providing service for your company.
Okay, so is this certification is more like a US centric, or like the way in CISSP when we say, or in AP or whatever? So
in the beginning will be US centric, in the sense that even now, again, and the past is required for the ISSP, for the what they call in theory like information assurance system architecture engineer level 3. This is like they require like CISSP-ISSAP and CISSP-ISSP for this. But this is one thing, and also that's why that in DoD itself they implement RMF for certification, and after for certification accreditation of the system, they follow the RMF step for that. So usually people who support that is the ISSP or the system security engineering. So if you say that, at the moment maybe it's for more people who interested, maybe mostly that, because again, there'll be no HR will ask you, and any company asks you, do you have CISSP-ISSP or not? So what I can think, maybe people who want to take this, maybe just want to complete CISSP consistency, or people that others usually I heard that really work from DoD, just they only require you to get the certifications.
That's great. So Yusuf, like, this is a very common question people basically ask is what resources we have to use for preparing for CISSP-ISSAP. So what is the recommendation? If you talk about the
So
book sequence and all
that's
that,
the problem again. I mean, even if you check in the ISSP, the IC Square website, even they don't list anymore about the official CBK guideline. IC Square just lists as part of reference. But again, one thing, of course, you need just to, as usual, just download all the material, for example, the outline, exam outline, and exam flashcard from the IC Square website. And also, they have also suggested references for that. So download that. You will have many. The references they list up part of the old CBK, and also they list up a lot of CISSP 800 series publications. So that's maybe what I want to say here. The CISSP 800 listed there will be part of the main resource for these certifications. For basics.
So if you're taking an example, like there's so many resources out there. They're plenty documented NIST list of courses and all that. But I want your opinion on, if I talk about the book sequence. So the CBK book is there from ISSAP. Is that sufficient?
So if you read the book, it's very old, very, very old. This is maybe 2002, and it's, again, but it's not useless. You can study, but you have to know which the new one, the publication or not. But it's not the old book. I can tell you that you can still use as, for example, because by the way, when you take, for this ISSP, you need to understand, I think, like 4 system life cycle. I can say. One is the old ones, like IATF, we call it IATF. That is the old one. This is engineering, and the new one is like NIST System Security Engineering. It's the SP 160 Volume 1.
160?
160 Volume 1.
Okay.
So, and then you have to know, of course, NIST Basic SDLC. And then the third is NIST RMF. This is for the. So this you need to have in your head. This is, maybe 3 with RMF for website.
Okay. And the way we basically say we have to think like a manager in CISSP, CSSP. So how to think like in ISSAP? Because in architect, we think like architect.
Again, you have to think like system security engineer.
Okay.
So
an example.
If you open, I think this is more. The ISSAP is more on NIST documentations.
Yes.
So if you check, for example, NIST SP 837, the RMF, they have role and responsibility, and I think you will find the system security engine what the role in them. So this mostly that you will be kind of a system security engineer, that you will follow the development from the whole development from initiations to disposal, stuff like that. So my approach, again, many people will give you, I think you can get also some opinion from Reddit, from other forum, and maybe even from LinkedIn. I think some people have also this. But again, when you understand this for life cycle, it's you just make first what your basic life cycle. Maybe you can take RMF, the basics, and then after this, or maybe basic SDLC as the basic of life cycle, and then you need to try to map this maybe not one-to-one mapping of the each phase, but you need to map this for life cycle into each other. So this will guide you about what's going on, and it will guide you to connect the dots. So in each life cycle, on each phase, for example, say that now we talk in RMF. So like prepare, there is like categorize, there is like select, there's like implement, there's like assess. and then authorize and disposal. You will have this these phases, and you try to map. Okay, for example, prepare maybe initiation as SDLC. So in prepare, this they will have a lot of activity. What you need to do and prepare, or for example, what you need to do and categorize. So when you think what you need to do, you can link this to other SP-800 that give you the basic ID guideline for doing that. For example, if I need to select, means I need to go SP-853 because they have a lot of the whole bunch of script control there. And for example, of course, the risk management, I need to go to 37, 30, or 39, something like that. So after this, you can link, I mean, which the SP that you need to understand. And after this, you can just go follow these phases. For example, when you create system, okay, you will follow, for example, if you follow, for example, with an RMF, you start with prepare, with categorize, and it's going for until. So you follow this, you need to understand the input output and the role, who do and which phase. So because this will be more on I mean the gems or the content they will be asked on the exams, because they will ask you, okay, that if you are doing this, for example, you're in which state, and after this, what you need to do, just something like that.
Okay, and when it comes to the challenge part, while you're preparing for this exam, how do you find, like, do you find any challenges while preparing for this exam, or it was just like a cup of tea?
Oh, challenges! If you ask me that, if I compare then the other two of the concentrations like SNP, this is the hard part in the sense to collect the resources. If for ISSP, I have your coefficients.
Thank you.
Well, I use your snacks and coefficients just to have my ISSP. Again, thank you for that. Again, with ISSP, you can just read again. I mean, study again all the ISSP and all this to dig in. But for the challenge, like the resource itself is there, but how we know this will be asked is maybe another challenge, because again, if very lot of SP series or SCP-800 series that we need to read to understand. So if you don't, I mean, if you only work in some DoD and D2D operations, will be easier because maybe some operations that you already experience. But if you now, for example, like me, just want to implement just part of, I implement parts of that, quite difficult because you need to adjust your, thinking, the way that you work based on what needs design. For example, if you see that the role, you will find the role, all the role will be on this application like SP-837, that maybe not all the role that you will find in usual command like maybe like authority official, say like this, something like that. Maybe you will not find maybe the kind of role in usual company.
That's great. So what resources we apart from using you talk about the books and all that. So what do you think about the question bank? Because I'm sure, in CISSP, in CCSP, even for the AP, we have some question resources, what I observed. And even for ISSMP, we are using some reference of ISACA review manuals and all that. But when it comes to ISSEP, what is the recommendations you have for the question bank?
So the question bank, this is tough because again, I think it's not as far as I know. Maybe they have some, but I cannot get it. But one thing, I just utilize the old CBK. I think quite the similar that you guys doing. I mean, the old CBK, even if they have some question, I think per chapter they have questions, so you can also just utilize these questions. The other thing, because this is really quite, this certification, maybe you can think, after if you familiar with CAP or maybe now it's CGRC. They changed the CGRC.
Yeah.
So they're quite similar on the risk management part. We're quite similar with this. So also you can utilize the CGRC exams question for this. Particularly for risk management. And other than this, I cannot find. That's But again, the CBK, the old CBK is still I utilize maybe the question, I mean the handbook, but I just remove all the old one. For example, if you for example, you have the old CBK, they will talk about like NITSCAP, like the old, for example, certified accreditation steps. It's not used anymore. For example, you just stick with RMF for this. So that's why that if you just rely on the old CBK, again, this is quite difficult. But again, this is still used because you can still rely the IATF system engineering on that books, but you cannot rely on other, even for the NITSCAP, for the certificate accreditation steps.
Okay, so when you said about the exam part and all that, you said CGRC questions, which is basically CAP, can be reference use, and CAS. And apart from that, you have also told about the function validations and all that. So if we talk about from all these sources, okay, because when I was preparing for the AP, so I refer the CBK backside of questions. Every domain, they have a backside of the questions, which actually give a good insight. So do you have a recommendation that the aspirants who are watching this video or those who are preparing for the ISSEP, will they also refer those backside of the questions which is there in the CBK? Does that give them idea about the language perspective and all that?
Oh yeah, I mean, in CBK in each chapter they have like the question and answer. This also will guide you, but practically because you see the question more on the institutional question. It's not maybe some part is about like direct question about which type of this institutional question. So you can just based on that you can just to grasp about this time institutional will be asking.
Good. So that is the reason I basically ask about that pointer. So any last point you want to suggest to the aspirants who are preparing for the ISSEP before we wind up?
One thing again, I mean, it's a good certification if you like to security engineering. So that is maybe you can pursue this. But again, maybe So if we want to pursue this, the certifications, one thing is less there. But again, there's a lot of advice from. You can get from forum. You can ask people as well. But again, for me, that I just mentioned before, you just need to understand, like the SDLC, just to read this and understand many of SP-800 series publications. I think maybe compare than other ISSAP and other SSMP, this may be the one that you need to read that. Particularly also the SP-800 16011 is maybe the new one of the. You need to understand that, and you can just start to map each other about the process, and I think you can make it.
That's a very good point. So I just want to tell team that when you're preparing for the ISSEP, the most important thing, you have to think like an engineer. From a product point of view, security is by design. Weakest link is the people, and CBK and NIST's books can be the primary resource that you can refer while preparing for this certification. So what do you think? What is the timeline we need to keep, Yusuf, for this particular preparation? Like 3 months, 4 months, 6 months? So what do you think? What is the timeline we have to keep?
So this depends on the background, your background itself. So that's but at least when to get this, at least you have for the SSP already. So means that you have the basic of the SSP already. So if you have like 2 months, you over 2 months or 3 months, and maybe you can just because I studied about 2 months, I think.
Wow.
But this and then I took this after I took ISSIP. That's why that I haven't worked more focus on that.
And I believe that give you a good idea about, because architect is all about design and EP is all about engineering. So somehow it is very correlated. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So and then you just just try again when you read after you know that which SP or special publications that I need to collect. Try to summarize this on Excel sheet, something like that. And then you can just try to link this activity related to which SP, and this will give you I think it will give you again how you connect the dots. If you don't do like this, if you just read SP, and you sound quite difficult to connect it. But if you again you based on RMF or say one is basic SDLC or RMF, and you connect, oh, this is maybe on the implementation. I need to know SP 870, and then they will give you the idea how you try to walk through from, I mean, from the categorizations to from disposal. So that's I
great.
think they will give you the background. I mean, to go with the test.
That's a very good valuable advice, and thanks Yusuf for sharing this particular insight. So again, I really want to thank you, Yusuf, for taking out the time for this particular session. I know it's a weekday, and I'm sure you have your own commitment also, but I'm really obliged that you're able to spare the time for this particular session and giving back to the community. That what we have learned in ISSP principles. So, team, if you want more sessions with Yusuf, do drop your suggestion in the comment box. I'm going to disturb him again if Yusuf is okay with that.
No problem.
And
Anytime.
so, and if you find the channel useful, do subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to make sure you should not miss the future videos on a similar topic. Thanks, Yusuf. Thank you for your time for this particular session.
No problem. Thanks, Prabh. Have a good day. Thanks.